Hello everyone, my name is Paul and today I'll show you all new features I integrated into Gene 2.3. So let's get started. There are 8 new functions and features starting from chaos, moving to keeper and ending with extended background. Plus the entire list of games was reviewed and updated. I'll walk through each function and feature one by one, and you'll see how they are intertwined as we go along. Let's start with the first one, called Chaos and Order, which also knows how to consider the order in which the numbers are drawn. Here is the control panel, where you can select that the order is considered, and then you can adjust the second property from 0 to 100%. In this case, the influence of these numbers which were not drawn in the right order. In the hit graph, you see the solid curve representing these numbers drawn in the right order, and then dashed curve represents all the drawn numbers, so it considers also the numbers not drawn in the right order. So the gap here between them is amount of numbers drawn not in the right order. And in the output box, you can see that number 43 and 21 marked by red, and these numbers were drawn in the right order. And then there is a number 24 marked by pink color by default, and it was not drawn in the right order, but it was matched. But as we have the setting that to considering only the ordered numbers, then the amount of them is 2 and only 2 are counted in the evaluation, and then by rating this is kept as 2. If we decide to use not ordered, so we uncheck the checkbox and this is then called disordered, then you can adjust the influence of the ordered numbers or drawn in the right order. This we had until the Gene 2.2, so if you do not want to care about the order in which the numbers are drawn, just leave it like it is and you will have it the same like we had before. If we look to the hit graph, there is a small difference. So this solid curve represents the wave of all matched numbers, including ordered numbers and disordered numbers. Then there is a dashed curve which represent these numbers drawn in the right order, and the space between them is actually the amount of numbers which were matched but not drawn in the right order. And you'll see that here. So we have number 16 and number 34 which were not drawn in the right order, and numbers 47 marked by red color drawn in the right order. So we have one number in the right order and two numbers not drawn in the right order, and the wave is marked by light green. It is this one, this is this number in the right order, and then the dark green shows the numbers, amount of numbers drawn not in the right order but match. So this represents the whole wave. And we go to Gene right here, we click the activation, and all these settings is now enabled, and here is the control panel for the chaos and order function, where you can leave it as a disorder, so the order is not considered, or you can just make it please consider the order, and then if you leave it 0, then only ordered numbers are considered. You can change it to 47 to 50 or to 100, whatever. And then there is the influence of these numbers which were not drawn in the right order. So this is something you can play with. For today I will leave it so only the order is considered, and I click settings. So all the input and output boxes are now printing. And I move to next function called double filter, which filters all the generated numbers both from the bottom and from the top, giving you exact shape of the wave you are looking for. So previously we have normally the lower filter, and we were able to make settings only from the bottom, but now as a new option we can go and make the filter from the top to down, and we can shape the wave and squeeze it into form we need. So this is the double filter, and you see the input boxes are printed, and as the first input box is the filter output was, where is the lower one, so I can make the settings like 1 and 2, and now from the top you can see that it will move from the top. That's so 2 and 1, so you can form the wave as you need, especially at the end of the generation. I can also put here, for example, number 4, and here I'll get the touching point, and it gives me the just exact point which I have to reach to pass the filter. So you have to get 2 matches in the right order to pass this filter. So by doing this you can make really exact shape of the wave you need, but you have to be careful not making it so tough, because then after a long time you won't be able to get any results. So this is how you can form the wave via using this touching point. If I make it higher, for example 4, so then I'll get overlap, and there is no chance to get over this wall and to pass the filter at all. And during the settings, if I want to try to start it, it will cause an error, and it's marked then by red here. So what I need to do is I have to correct it, so I have at least the touching point. If I click it again, so now it's corrected and the error is removed right where. So let's make it in this way for today's demonstration, and I move. The next is the crazy twister, which turns the evolution process upside down, bringing you unique waves with high potential to win. So here we have the input box, and if we put number 1, then we activate the twister for a certain column, and the activation of the twister is visible also in the hit graph by the black dot. So there is a column number 1, column number 2, and when we leave it empty, then it's not applied for the column number 3. And in the output boxes it looks following. And before I will explain it, the reason for the crazy twister is to make the wave in the beginning as weak as possible. So let's say we are looking for bad luck in the past, but we then expecting that if there was long bad luck, then there should be good luck. This is the higher probability, and this is the tool what is it used for. So you want to get some weak waves but with very strong and with high potential to win. And if you see here we have 0 matches, so it's 0, but as it's twisted, then the value is upside down. So instead of 0 we are getting the maximum possible value, which is equal to 6. For the second column it is the same. There is 1 match, 43, but it is not drawn in the right order, so in our scenario it's not counted. We have 0, and then it's twisted to value 6. Where is not applied, we have 3 matches and it remains free. So that's the twister, and I can just set the twister here by 1 and 1, and you see these black dots, so it's evident where the twister is applied, and the final one I will leave empty. Or I can put a 0 here, it's the same, like it's not applied, and it's the 0 line so normally I am not filling this. Then in advanced I prepared drawn numbers from the latest drawing days of the Powerball lottery, and let's place them in the input box, and let's start the generation. So the generation is running. I will switch off the online monitoring and switch to Notes tab to make the speed as fast as possible. So we are getting about 8,000 cycles per second now. It's nearly 20,000 cycles per second. So let's leave the gene running for a while and talk about the extended compare function. So in the previous version, like Gene 2.2, the compare was possible only with the future predictions, so only with this column, and we have the input box with the C column right here. So when you got normally the numbers from the lottery drawn, then you put them like here, then click compare, and these numbers which were matched in all output boxes were highlighted, so you could see how good all the generations were. Furthermore, the wave was also highlighted, like you can see here, by the green color in all output boxes. Newly in Gene 2.3, the input box extended, so you have also columns for all the predictions P1, P2 and to Pn. So let's see, you can have that if you have using predictions, you can fill in new drawn numbers from lottery, and after clicking compare you can compare that. Furthermore, there are highlighted numbers which are drawn in the right order and by default here are marked by red color. So these are all these numbers. Then there are highlighted numbers which were matched but not drawn in the right order, and they are highlighted now by pink color. And also the wave, which is marked by light green, representing numbers or amount of numbers drawn in the right order, and then by dark green is the wave which includes the numbers which were not drawn in the right order. So this is the complete wave you can see here. So that's all now here what you can compare with the previous version, and also you can see much more, and it's really clear to see, and based on this you can better decide how the generation would good and which numbers to select for your new ticket. Now the gene is running for a while. We got 24,000 cycles per second, and here we got some first results. I will end it, and now I will apply the compare by clicking on it, and you see how it's newly highlighted. So you can see in the input box that there are marked numbers which were drawn in the right order and not in the right order by the pink color, and there is the red color by the right order. Furthermore is the wave that this representing wave with numbers drawn in the right order, so it's equal to the tick wave here. And then here is also wave which is representing also numbers not drawn in the right order, so you can see this dashed curve. And then as it's no more here, then it's then there are then together these lines, so you can see only one line in this scenario. So there are more of them, so I have only 2 results right now because I applied the filter and it's tougher to pass the filter right here. And that's about the compare. If I click on compare by right mouse click, not by double click but right mouse click, I will clear it right here, so it's cleared. And if you get new numbers from lottery, there are drawn, and just for example I put them, it is just copy, but let's make it a little bit realistic like this. And so I have new numbers and I want to compare them with all output boxes so I can see how the generation is good. So I click again compare, and you see there are numbers which are drawn in the right order. You see the amount here, also the wave is highlighted here, and with this you can continue. If I'll copy that just to make it faster, yes, I place it here, and I can just even add just two numbers like here, so you can compare the next. If you have the numbers for that, you should normally fill it in, but it's not necessary. So just click compare, and that's it. So you can see the complete wave like here. So that's how this works. As just to see, I will just place number which is present, click compare again, and now 23 is number 23 and it is in the right order. So that's how this works. And when you run the generation for a longer time, you can every time check this by compare and to see how these waves, the final waves, looks like. So that's the extended compare function. And after the compare, the sorter was integrated into the compare function to get a better overview of the results. So in the extended input box, there are in the C columns, there are commands there which are marked by these red triangles, and each command at every triangle shows the most frequent numbers which are present in all printed output boxes relevant for the current column. So this is for the C2, these numbers. Then we have extra number for C1 or for CF. So here you can see that this for the draw number 1 was drawn 5 times, number 10 4 times, and here for the draw 2 number 5 was drawn 6 times, and so on. What it's good for? Let's say you have printed 10 output boxes with 10 best results from the many days generation. So these are the best results you can have from the gene. And if there are most frequent numbers which are frequent in these best results, you might consider use these most frequent numbers for putting them on the ticket, and they can have the high potential to win. So this is another strategy how to play with these numbers, how to use the gene, and I am curious about also your results. So this is what you can use, and let's see that in the gene directly. So there is the input box. I will clear it just to see. Just let's say we finished the generation and we want to buy a ticket, but we don't know if to use the numbers from the output boxes, I mean from the F column, because this is the upcoming day here, or if to use the most frequent number. So I click compare here, and you see we have the best result, number 2, and we can decide to select these numbers because the wave looks trendy moving up. So let's say it might be a good result, or you can just click here and you can see the most frequent numbers. So there is present number 8, number 13 in the first draw, and number 3 in the second draw, 21. So you can choose these numbers, or you can choose the best numbers from the best output box. here it's not so significant because every number here present is frequent only once, so maybe I won't use this in this case. But if you decide to print more output boxes, for example from 10 to 20 or whatever, then you will see really the most frequent number, that some of them are generated 4 times or 3 times. So based on that, you can decide that these numbers has or have high potential to win, and you can choose them for the generation. So that is about the sorter. Next, the reset option was integrated into transfer function, which allows you to reset and change certain settings during the transfer process. So here is the transfer, and then the reset checkbox was added, and here is the area for the transfer function. And now what all you can do with the reset: at first, the all printed boxes, filter, twister, input box and output boxes are retained, so they are not touched. Then all numbers in the input box are kept as well, so they are not deleted. Then last seed and swap numbers for generator number 1 are also kept if the generator number 1 is used. Then these things are cleared, so all results in all output boxes, hit graph, record and pulse data and graphs, marked waves and numbers in compare, then sorted numbers and associated comments, so these are the numbers from the sorter, and proof results. Finally, what cannot be changed is the language, skin, lottery, generator, rating, mode, order and or disorder function, count of previous and future lots, position, size and number of all printed boxes. So let's go to Gene, and now it's ended and the compare was applied. Normally when I will end the generation and I want to continue from the last save point, or if something happened and I have auto-saved the last version somewhere, I want to open it and I want to continue. So to continue the generation, then normally you just use the transfer, you click activation settings and continue the generation from the last point where it was ended. So the generation then is running, it got some speed here and it's running further. I can end it and I can again compare it if I got a new result, so I can look for new waves. But if I find that something is wrong and I have to change something and I like to start the generation over again, but there is, or I don't want to change many things, I don't want to do newly from the ground green, then you can really use the reset and now see what happens. First of all, if I click activation, then what you cannot change, as I mentioned, this is this whole line. It is from the language, skin and also from to the order disorder function, and there is other stuff. But when you click now the settings, you can even, let's say you can change the filter twister, but when you click this settings, now you see what happened. At first the hit graph was deleted, the proof graph was deleted. It was not started here, but it will be automatically cleared here. But what is kept is the filter input box, the twister is kept and the complete input box is kept. But all the results we had are now deleted. So you can really start easily the generation over again, which I'll do right now. So now it's running and we are getting new results with slightly new differences. So for example, if you want to change the filter, because you might find the filter is too tough or whatever. So now it is like you can see here. I can start even the online monitoring. So now you got a new graphs like here. So that's how the reset in transfer works. I can end it here and I'll move to next function, the keeper, and the keeper retains all the drawn numbers in the input box and keeps them for the new next generation. So the setting is much faster and easier. The keeper has following control panel where you can activate the keeper. You can make it automatic, which will extend then automatically. I'll show you how. Then you can keep the past, you can keep also the future and past, or also the comparison future and past. It means the complete input box with all the numbers which were drawn in the lottery. Plus the filter or twister can be kept if you check these two boxes. And finally you can set up offset A and offset B, but about offset A or B I will talk in special video which will be directly dedicated to this keeper function. The keeper is located just below the main menu, below the transfer, and it is the whole line here. In the gene you can see the keeper is located here, and let's see how this works. So one example, let's see, we got some numbers, just make it fast here, which were generated by the lottery, not generated but drawn by the lottery. And I like to keep these numbers and I like to start over again new generations to moving these 4 columns to the past. So I will have new predictions for future and other prediction P1 and P2 or more. I can extend it. So what I can do, at first I'll check the keeper, and you see the transfer was automatically disabled, and if I click transfer the keeper is disabled then. So it means that you cannot use keeper and transfer in the same time. Only one option is possible and allowed. So let's use the keeper, then we will use the auto, and then I can keep only the past, it means only this area, or I can keep the future as well, so it keeps the area plus this future column where I have the draw numbers. Or if I continue further, I can also keep the compare area, so it means I can keep the whole input box, and I can adjust the length of this area right here. If I want to use one only, then I will use the right offset, which will be described in another video. So for now I will keep only this area, so I like to have 4 past drawing days, and the auto means that based on that settings it will be the count of previous slots will be extended to 4. So I will also keep the filter and twister settings, so I mean this area and this one. And let's see what happens, just checking if everything is correct. Yeah, it's correct, and I click activation, and now you see that everything was cleared, like you are starting over again, completely new generation. So all is empty here, and this is enabled. So in this phase you can change the language, you can change the skin, so I will change it to gray, You can change even the lottery, so you might have different preset for the same lottery. Then you can change the generator, so I'm changing that to generator number 2. Then the rating can be changed, modes, and let's make it disordered, so we will not care about the order. For example, we can also change other stuff here, and let's make, for example, that we will make the free predictions, and just click settings, and now all the miracle will happen really fast. So the big advantage is that you don't really need to take care about the new settings and about the numbers to store them somewhere, and so you will just use the keeper and everything itself will be set up for you, and you can start over again the generation after the boxes are printed. And that's the huge advantage for the next generation, and this is one of things which helped me to continue without any more work and make it really fast. So, and here you see it, yeah, you have in the input box all these 4 columns and draw numbers. So this is like that, and I can just start it and it's running. So I will now wait for new generated. Here is a new result, best result number 2, and for the next drawing day I can basically use these 2 numbers, or these all numbers here for these 2 drawings day. So I can end it, I can compare it. I like to only point out one thing, so we are keeping this input box, and it was also extended to 3 future words, so it's adjusted simply here. And what was moved was the twister and filter. So as in most cases the filter and twister is especially used at the end of the generation, so it was moved to the end. So the same settings, it was basically moved, the twister as well. But there is no problem. Before you start it, you can adjust it like this. So you can, for the twister, you might want to have it more in the beginning. So this is how this works and how you can simply adjust it. So that's all about the keeper. And now finally let's talk about the extended background. Until the version Gene 2.2, the background was under the menu area and above all the printed O2 boxes, and when the length was longer than the menu area, then the background was lengthened like this, and there was a white space with the matrix without any background, so it didn't look so well. And now it was changed, so also even when it's longer, this area is also colored by the background based on the selected skin. So this is a new extended background right here. And at the end of this video, I'll give you figures about the coding and user guide. The Gene 2.3 has 5,982 lines of the code, where 606 were added. The core of the code contains of 899 lines of the code, where 81 are new. So this is the code. The user guide spawns of 149 pages, with 32 of them being new. And that's all what's new. Thank you for watching. I hope you'll find the new Gene 2.3 exciting, interesting, worth exploring, and valuable for your needs. Goodbye from me now, Paul, and see you next time.